Okay, morning guys. Hope everyone's okay. I'm actually filming this from the train on the way up to Hamburg. I've got a project up there, and actually this is the only time I've found to be able to complete this video for you. The next logical episode in the series would be me fitting the Safari roof to the Land Rover. But just before I do that, I wanted to catch up on a couple of projects which I'd done previously to starting the Safari roof, which have to do with the noise that I discovered in the drivetrain of the Land Rover. So when I was driving it for the first time, I discovered quite a nasty vibration that was coming from the drivetrain, and that's what I wanted to do first. So it's going to be a couple of videos based on diagnosing the problem and fixing it, hopefully. But as soon as that's done, we'll be back on to fitting the Safari roof to the car. So I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so looking at doing the final jobs on the Land Rover now, really. I've still got a very rich running carburettor. I've got to try and work out what the problem is there. I have now finished the hardtop, as I said to you before. I've got the brakes to bleed again, so I'll see if I'm going to do that today or not. And I also have the interior to fit out, or fit. So that's what I'm going to do now, I think. Get the interior done. Okay, so what I've been doing is making a thin foam frame to this seat base, purely because it sits a little bit proud of the seat base and clatters against the metal. So it's a bit annoying when you drive, so that should just stop that from happening. Okay, so that is the interior in. The only small thing I've still got to do fit these little supports that stop the seat base from sliding to the left and the right. I can't find them at the moment, but I will have to do that when I find them. But otherwise, the seats aren't in great condition, but they will be fine for a little while longer. Stuff like that and splits and stuff, but cleaned them up a little bit and fitted them in, and they seem to be okay. I also, if you remember, took them all apart and re-glued them and fixed them properly to the back using these black screws. The only one thing I've got to do, which I'll do now, is put the little rubber stoppers in here to stop the seat from banging against the metal. Okay, so fitted the little rubber stoppers. They're not the original ones. The original ones are a lot thicker. They're like door stops and actually push the seat sort of quite far forward. So because I'm quite tall, I took them off years ago, but yeah, it damages the seat. If you can see all these scratches along the seat, and I've just bought these little stick-on ones just to protect the seat a little bit against the metal. So it still means I get quite a lot of space in the seat, but also get the bit of protection there. Okay, so I'm just doing a drive around my company here because there's some good roads, and what I've noticed is, apart from that very loud vibration, there's quite a vibration when I get above sort of 5 or 10 miles an hour, and I don't know if it's from the... Oh god, it feels like something's going to fall apart. Quite a wobble here, I think it's from the transmission. It's quite a vibration that I get. I think there's some speed bumps around here, so that's not going to be much fun. But I'll see if I can get it going around here again. Oh. On these speakers, there's some chronic vibration coming from the gearbox. I don't know if it's just maybe one of the wheels isn't balanced, but it's quite pronounced. I mean, don't worry about that noise because that's just like the overdrive handle. I think what I'm going to do is just go on the road a little bit just to see what it's like. Okay, so having just been out on the road, I've got quite a vibration coming from what feels like the transmission. I don't know if it's the wheels that are not aligned, or maybe, I don't know, maybe one of these wheels is buckled, or maybe it's something to do with the drive shafts. I know I'm missing one of the bolts on the rear drive shaft, but I don't think that would make that much of a difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jack it up and put it on axle stands on all four wheels and run it, and see if I can see anything amiss. Okay, so I've got the Landy up on the axle stands now, purely because of the way it lifts, the differentials being the lifting point for me. It lifts slightly higher on the right hand side or the driver's side, so it's a bit skew wonk, but there is daylight under there, you can see there, so it is off the ground entirely. It's actually the first time I've ever put the car, while it's been completely assembled, on axle stands, and it's surprisingly stable actually. So if I rock it a bit, makes a bit of noise, but they're absolutely stable. So what I'm going to do now is run it for a bit and see if there are any vibrations. What I did see already, just making the wheels, just turning the wheels with my hand, is this one is binding on the brakes. So I mean, bloody Nora, actually quite badly. So that might be my problem. So I'm going to let that one off a little bit and look for other issues. Okay, so I'm just going to turn on the engine and put it in drive, four-wheel drive, just to see what's happening. See if I've got any vibrations that I can see. Okay, so that rattle, just so you know, is that it's just that support here, which is not tight yet, so don't worry about that. But these wheels, they seem to be running perfectly true. No wobbles or anything there. Of course, it's the left-hand side that's turning at the moment because of the differentials. These aren't really doing anything. But watching them turn, there's no real issue there. So, I don't really know what the problem is. I mean, obviously that's not much of a diagnosis. Got a bit of a wobble on that brake drum there, but that's nothing really worth worrying about. Just going to feel around a little bit. Oh, nothing that's obvious. So I'm going to drive it again with that brake adjusted now, so you can see if there's any difference. So this is with the rear wheels engaged, and you can hear like a rumbling, not a grinding, but sort of a rumbling from the gear. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, so I just took the Land Rover out for a drive on the road. I also found quite a little off-road track into the woods, which was quite cool. I haven't been off-roading in this for about, well, God knows, since the 90s. But anyway, the difference was quite noticeable, having done backed off the front near side drum brake. It was binding quite badly, actually. So I backed that off a little bit on both bolt adjusters on the drum brake, and that seems to have made a difference. But there's still a really weird vibration coming from the gearbox. It was the gearbox area, and when you coast, so when you're accelerating and then you just lift off the accelerator, so on deceleration, just between deceleration and coast and drive, when you coast. There's quite a horrible noise, and I've got absolutely no idea what it is. Sounds like there's something loose in the gearbox, which God knows, quite possible, although strange, because obviously I followed all the right steps when rebuilding that gearbox. When I had it up on the stands, I had it in drive, and I put my hand on the transfer case, and I could feel some slap or something in there, which I don't know whether it's just because it's got no weight behind it. But there's something wrong there, and I don't know. I honestly, at the moment, don't know what it is, and I'm not really that sure how to diagnose it. I've got a sneaky feeling it might be something along the lines of the clutch plate not quite centered, because when I fitted the clutch, I used my own homemade tool, which probably isn't the cleverest idea, really, seeing as they don't cost much. But it's just I didn't have one to hand at the time. I fitted it, and who knows, the clutch might be slightly off center, but there are so many things it could be. It could be that missing bolt in the rear drive shaft, or the rear prop shaft, or a loose, like a loose gearbox mount or something along those lines. But yeah. Bit annoying, but it was really cool to be out on the road. The brakes are working pretty well. I did some adjustments at the pedal recently. I've still got to do some adjustments on there, but they're working pretty well, even though I backed off the front near side. And it was really cool fun to be out on the road in it. So, and everyone, there's not many people around up here, but everybody who I passed was looking. And because obviously you don't really see these cars much over here, especially with the English number plate still. So, But anyway, really good fun. But yeah, still got to find the problem behind, or the reason behind that vibration.